We're going to talk a lot today about how people who are new in their learning experience on QuickSight can get started. But I hope that we also have some folks on the line that maybe are further along in their journey and are here just to learn about how they can bring their stakeholders along. I think it's going to be a really good mixed group. So looking forward to the conversation. I did want to just kind of call out a couple things. So I've been with Amazon for just over 10 years, with the first 4 years working in Amazon education and the last 6 years with AWS as part of the QuickSight team. So I'm hoping that today feels like an expert's guide to a lot of resources that are available for you on demand, but I'm going to try and curate for you in a pretty fast moving way, the way that you can ideally use QuickSight as a launch pad for empowering your career, to be honest with you. I think that we're in a moment right now where it is so exciting about what's going on in technology with data and AI, especially generative AI. So my goal here is to share my love of learning and what I've come to put together with my small team. I do head up the global QuickSight Customer Success Initiative, and together with a small team of people who work with me, such as Maddie, Marion, and Maitri, who have helped build the QuickSight Learning Dashboard that we're going to look at, we work really closely in partnership with the global sales team and service and SA teams that work with our customers around the globe. And what we're trying to do is give you as many on-demand learning resources that can be really helpful to you, but there's a lot of different ways to learn. And in fact, just 13 days ago at the Los Angeles AWS Summit, Dr. Matt Wood, who's the VP of AI at AWS and who used to be the VP in charge of QuickSight a couple years back, spoke about how in the era of generative AI, companies are transforming experiences for their businesses and customers. There was a great piece, I'll share with you the YouTube link. I won't show the whole thing, but the gentleman that you see here on stage is the VP of the PGA Tour, and he does this whole section on how the PGA is using the very latest AI and data services from AWS to tell new stories that are driven by the people and the data that are here. And so, when he was talking about this, I thought it was really important. Maybe we'll see if the audio is actually working here.
About this lends itself to take that foundational data that we have now locked up and put it into these new platforms so that we can think more about them. And the reason that we like what we're doing with AWS is because we are using Bedrock in exactly the way that Matt just described. And we are taking those things and using not a model, but all the models. And we don't do AI because it's cool. We do AI because we need things from it, right? How do I find the next thing that you should care about, that you don't know you want to know before I told you it was there, about the player you didn't know you cared about before you knew who I told you about him, and I'm doing the thing that you didn't know was hard to do until I explained to you how hard it was to do. That's what this is for. Every single one of these becomes a useful tool. And all of that lends itself to what really matters. All the numbers, all the data, all the things that are there, they are useful because that guy is crying. I don't know why, but I'm going to find out because it's important. Why is that guy so excited? I mean, I don't know what's happening over here. And by the way, is he out of his freaking mind? Like, what is going on with that? Where was he in the golf tournament when that was going on? Like, did he care? What was happening? What was going on? We are using these to tell you the story. And the thing about this is we're building these things for the next set of stuff that we want to give you. What about?
So this is not all about the PGA Tour, but I did want to give you just a little connection to how important it is in the moment that we're in right now. Technology is moving very, very fast. What Matt said on stage is that the Amazon Bedrock tool, which is now built inside to QuickSight with our latest April 30th launch, we now call QuickSight and Q and QuickSight Generative Business Intelligence, or Gen BI, because we're literally one of the first software services to be delivered at scale from AWS that has Bedrock inside. Matt Wood said that Q, which was announced at reInvent and which QuickSight is part of, is the easy button for generative AI. And I want you to think today, if I have done my job right, you're going to walk out thinking that Q in QuickSight is the empowerment button. And so I really hope that what you find today is an amazing tool that can help you empower your career, and that you'll come back again and again to receive that kind of empowerment. Basically, QuickSight is here to help connect you as a human being to data and to derive insights from that data, and then to be able to take data-informed actions from the data. And then ideally, as you're going through and trying to determine if that has been the right action, you're coming back to QuickSight to determine, did the data that I expected to happen actually happen? So whether you are an admin, an author, a reader, or a developer, and regardless of whether you are a business or a technical user or in any industry, you belong here. Amazon itself has more than 1 million employees, and more than 1 million of our employees are actually using QuickSight. We also have more than 100,000 customers, and whether you are talking about somebody who's going into a mine, a supervisor who's trying to figure out, is it safe to go today? Those kind of folks use QuickSight. The NFL, the PGA, the world's biggest banks, and everyone in between are using QuickSight for a variety of purposes. So the learning dashboard is the foundation of what we're going to use today. I would encourage you to, if you can, if you have a second screen or can open a second window, I'm going to show you a bunch of resources. I hope I don't move too quickly. We literally can start from zero. You will have access to things. Even if you don't have a paid for account, you can access our learning resources. And I'm going to show you them on my screen so that you can acquire kind of a sense of what it is. But then when you're ready, you're going to want to start playing around with it and analyze and apply what you're seeing, whether it's a video, a link, a workshop. It really is going to help you in your learning journey when you're not just watching me do it, but you're actually doing it yourself. And foundationally, we think one of the best ways to learn is with others. And so we'll use the QuickSight Learning Dashboard in the community to make sure that you have a place to go to ask, answer, and share your learnings and ideas with others. So the two resources that are very critical are the QuickSight Community and the QuickSight Learning Dashboard. I'm going to explain to you, again, at a high level, kind of what we've put in here and where. And one of the things that I love is that you can always get to the QuickSight Learning Dashboard from the community, and you can always get to the community from the QuickSight Learning Dashboard. So think of it as your place to go and find things that are immediately available around the clock for continuous learning, and also to connect with the people who use QuickSight, which is foundationally what the QuickSight community is. This happens to be a really well-run website. So the QuickSight community has thousands of searchable answers, and it also has an area where if you become a signed in user of the community, you can ask questions. And just a couple of key points here, Maddie highlighted it earlier, but people are very actively answering questions, asking questions, and sharing their knowledge with others. So you can see real time what people are talking about today. And we do have a QuickSight Learning Series topic, the QLS Learning Dash, for today. And when you look at the getting started resources, what you will see is there is from top to bottom a set of learning resources, the most prominent of which is the QuickSight Learning Dashboard. So what we're going to be spending a lot of time talking about today is highlighted here in the community. And there's a short overview video that I star in for 3 minutes to give you an overview. But since we're live today, we'll be doing this as the backdrop for learning all the ways to use QuickSight. I will say just a couple of things before we jump into the live demo of the Learning Dashboard. There's not really one way to learn. There's all different kinds of ways. Each of us individually learn differently. And in fact, some of us and some of our colleagues are going to learn best by having someone hold their hand or learning in person with others. We do have a getting started page that gives you a set of resources that usually what people are doing is they're watching a video or doing a workshop and then applying that in a novel context in a playground like Demo Central, which I'll show you in just a minute. At the heart of the learning dashboard that we've created is a table that has hundreds of learning resources and that are available to you by persona, level, topic, the content type, and the delivery type, so that you can figure out if you know precisely what you're looking for. You can just go in and look for a link with one of those things. If you don't know, then we would encourage you to go from top to bottom through the persona-based pathways. And what's super exciting in the light of the most recent and super powerful generative BI capabilities that have just been launched, we have a really beautiful dashboard that shows you and allows you to play with kind of the art of the possible with the QuickSight Learning Dashboard. So let's just jump in and get started. When you click on the Learning Resources dashboard, the QuickSight Learning Dashboard, and I'm going to show you here for a moment, when you actually go to the link, or if you even Google it, I think you can find it very easily. But what we've recently done is we've actually pushed this into the product. So up here in my live learning dashboard, from any page on the QuickSight console, you'll see that there's a Getting Started button. So the link is also linked from there, and it would open up that same exact link. And the community is in that little question mark. So when you're in QuickSight, this question mark will guide you right to the learning dashboard. But let's take a look for a moment at what this is. It does have the concept of a session. So for 30 minutes, you have a live session on the QuickSight Learning Dashboard. Oops, I closed up the one that was my link. So let's get started again. So from the home page, as I was mentioning, you have basically a choice of which persona you would be, or watching a short overview video. And so the admin, author, reader, and developer personas are actually linked across the screen here. So when I click on, for example, the admin page, it takes me to the very first user of QuickSight in an organization has admin privileges, and they are the ones that help set up access to QuickSight for all the users, and they can create and manage groups and permissions. And so going from top to bottom here, you'll see that these are the resources that matter to admins. At the most advanced level, at the very bottom, what you'll see is that there's something called an admin console. And so the people who are really managing the QuickSight experience for their team or a large organization, in many cases, like to build an administrative dashboard that looks like this one, that allows them to see who's using it and what, how often are things happening. So that's kind of the most advanced thing for the administrators. But if you're just getting started, you might actually want to begin with an admin workshop. So when you click on the admin workshop or the author workshop or developer workshops, that takes you to a self-paced learning experience that allows you to go through step by step, and it gives you how much time is needed, etc. I'm going to jump here for a moment to the, actually I'm going to jump back to the Getting Started page, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the author experience. So the author workshop is probably the single most popular thing that takes you all the way into QuickSight. And what happens in the author workshop, especially if you are a business intelligence professional who's used other tools, BI has been around as an important field for more than 20 years. And so this workshop is the best place for you to take a given data set, the SaaS sales data set, and build your first dashboard. And you build it with that given data set, and you're taken through a series of exercises. So most people, when they go through these first few exercises, they're starting to feel like they know how to find things. Authors connect to data and they create visualizations. And one of the things that we built into QuickSight as of a few years ago was machine learning. And the insights for machine learning include being able to add forecasts to line charts, being able to create custom narratives, and to have anomalies detected. So as soon as you're in this for about 10 or 15 minutes, all of a sudden you're experiencing the power of forecasting and visualizing sales quarter over quarter. These are the things that you do in the author workshop. And when you look here at the author page, I just moved from the getting started page over to the author. If I had been on the welcome page and clicked author, it would have also taken me here. What you'll see is that getting started as an author points you to the author workshop, and there's also a video that shows you what you will be able to do when you're done with building your first dashboard. And then the author workshop does go into enhancing your dashboard with new additional interactivity. And so the author experience as you go down the page is probably a little bit more comprehensive than some of the other areas, because most people who are using the author experience up until just a couple weeks ago are people who are business analysts, data analysts. They're building visuals by connecting to data, and they're distributing them to readers and consumers of dashboards throughout their organization. We actually have highlighted at the top here, there's now an advanced part 1 and part 2 class that's available, and this is self-paced, but this is something that really is kind of the deepest way to actually take a class and pass a test for it, and we're hoping that there's a badge attached to this later this year. When the authors have created interactive visuals for their users, they distribute them, and the people who access dashboards created by the authors are what we call readers. And so there's a short overview. There's 31 different chart types in QuickSight. And as a reminder, everything that I'm doing here is actually a QuickSight dashboard that I am viewing as a reader. So I skipped over it, but one of the things that you're seeing is that the authors have these powerful tools to create visuals, add images, make all kinds of overlays. But from the standpoint of the types of visuals, you'll see the table is a really popular kind. And so I'm just going to not skip over this too much. Here, if I wanted to say I only want to see things that are available for readers, as an example, it will give me all of the links, and it will show me about, the interactive reader experience. You can see that there's different levels, and there's things that actually show you, for instance, customer success stories, getting started as a reader. You can see which levels, et cetera. So this is a really important type of visual to be able to look at and interact. Similarly, before I move on, I'm just going to highlight that developers are folks that use APIs in our software development toolkit to embed QuickSight into their own applications. And to be honest with you, what we're looking at here is an embedded version of QuickSight. So this is embedded over on this line to the left. And this is actually something that when you're looking at the QuickSight Learning Dashboard, this little button over here that our solutions architects who built the Demo Central website have made it so that you can actually switch your experience between the author, the reader, and the developer just by clicking on this link. So we're going to do that in a few minutes, but I'm just calling it out here so that you can see and understand that. And then I'm going to jump right to the heart of what is so exciting and new with QuickSight. So about what data? About 35 days ago or so, we released the latest generative BI version of QuickSight. And so now when I click over here, there's a new type of user called an Author Pro and a new type of reader, a new type of user called a Reader Pro. And they are able to utilize new features to further jumpstart their learning. So when you look at the generative BI capabilities from an author standpoint, it used to be that when you would go through that author workshop, these are the exact steps you would go through to build a KPI visual using all the tools in our authoring experience. And now we are beginning to enable authors to create those visuals using generative BI. So using natural language, you just type in what you want it to create, and then the generative BI will help create it for you. And so it reduces by quite a bit the amount of time and clicks that it takes, and you can build visuals, you can build calculated fields, and you can edit and refine the visuals all using natural language as part of the new generative BI. So that's the new author experience, and just going step by step through those components allows you to start seeing and getting started. At the top of this page, you'll notice that there's a video here, and I'm not going to play the whole thing. I just want to show you how you can interact with it.
Today, we'll show you how you can use Amazon Q and QuickSight to understand movie and audience data from IMDb.
We're going to talk a lot about movie and audience data. But so this dashboard that you're seeing here includes both the getting started piece at the top, which will show you what's possible. And then the other thing that's part of the Author Pro experience is the building of topics. So authors are the one type of user that now can create a topic that allows you to set up your access to data for your users to be able to do data Q&A once you have created a topic. And so the day that we announced this, April 30th, we also had a QuickSight Learning Series event on mastering Q topics, and that video is available here as well as on the community. So I'm going to pause for just a moment and say, for the Author Pro and the Reader Pro, that same top to bottom kind of concept exists here. With the readers or the Reader Pro, there's an Art of the Possible story that you see Maddie and I playing around with the different components of the topics and the natural language Q&A. And the Reader Pro new capabilities include the executive summary capability and data stories, which are highlighted here. The next piece that I want to show you is how you can actually see those in practice. And so what you'll see is we have these dashboard galleries here at the far end. I jumped all the way to the end so you could see what we've created are dashboards that you can play with that include a sample of the SaaS sales dashboard, which is what you produce at the end of the QuickSight author experience. So many of you, if you've already started your QuickSight learning journey, would have the SaaS sales dashboard already in your account, either because you've done the author workshop and you have the analysis view, or because someone in your team has and they've shared it with you. So in a few minutes, I'm going to show you what you can do and what's coming next. But we have these highlighted here, and I'm going to show you, for discussion purposes, this IMDb dashboard that has a really great example of a topic that we can all easily understand, which is movies and, award-winning movies. So you'll see here that this is the actual dashboard that was, I clicked the video on how you can use it, but it's showing you this natural language Q&A at the top screen. So I can interact and choose, things by, award, etc., genre. I can interact and say, hey, I want to just look at adventure movies, and it'll start showing me, the results of those, and the map and the different visuals released by year, etc. But I also can just use this little natural language prompt to do questions about the data itself. When I first click on this, it gives me some sample questions that I could ask. So what are the top movies of 2022? And you'll see that dashboard kind of goes away in the past, and now Q in QuickSight is building me a multi-visual response so that I'm seeing that there's one original title in the top 5 for awards, and it's giving me these different ways of looking at the data. If I wanted to say, what are ratings of movies in another year, 2021, it's going to give me a different sample. And I've never asked that question before. I have no idea what it's going to say. It says it can't be answered. There were no results that met the criteria, but it actually is giving me a suggestion. And so where we are right now with the natural language Q&A is that sometimes it knows what I'm asking, and there isn't a movie in 20. I can see that there's some typing that is not exactly the best example. So anyway, one of the things that I did want to call out again is that we are early in the journey with generative BI. And one of the things that is going to be very important and powerful as you go through and learn how to use QuickSight to begin driving insights of your own from the access to data that is made available to you, is that you may start out as a reader and you may want to become a reader pro, or you may find that you want to become something even more than a reader pro. I'm going to show you now the next piece of the generative BI capability using not the QuickSight Learning Dashboard per se. I'm going to show you what it's like when you're actually going through and doing live examples of the generative BI features for executive summaries and data stories. These two components are only available right now in the enterprise, the console version of QuickSight. They cannot yet be embedded, but I'm going to show you now what we are doing inside Amazon. And this is an example of what is possible if you were to follow the steps within your own account by upgrading to the Reader Pro and the Author Pro experience. So we'll use the SaaS sales dashboard that we were talking about before. And I'm going to now go to my own account, and I'm going to show you that I'm at the home page for the Learning Dashboard. I'm now going to click on SaaS Sales Dashboard, but all along I've had this prompt at the top that is the equivalent of that, SaaS Sales natural language Q&A. So, I can ask those questions at the top using natural language. I can explore the data and kind of figure out more about what the data that I have access to might represent, in addition to all those dashboards that the author created for me. And so at any time, if I'm looking at these visuals, I actually can go ahead and I can even change the visual type. Maybe I wanted to look at it in a different way. And so I can start exploring what that might look like. I can look at insights that are generated from the machine learning. If I like what I'm seeing, I can add those easily to my pinboard here. But the other thing that is possible with the data Q&A enhancements, the Reader Pro features, I have this button over here called Build. And this is where I can actually take a look and say, hey, build me an executive summary of the SaaS sales dashboard that I'm looking at here. So if we're looking at the completed SaaS sales dashboard, it has a whole bunch of different chart types and controls that are all interactive. I can see that, it's showing me sales by industry, regional details. It's building me a forecast. But if I wanted to just take a quick look at this and see what are the most important pieces of data here, it's generated for me this live executive summary that shows me, hey, total sales decreased in 2023. And if I click on it, it'll take me directly to that particular KPI. So as I click through here, you'll see it's showing me where we got this insight from. So finance, energy, and manufacturing are the top 3 industries, and the highest month is June with the total sales of 117,000. Now, as I interact with this, I might even go so far and say, hey, let's change the segment I'm looking at. Let's look at enterprise, not, all of it. And so the executive summary is smart enough to know, hey, I actually just, the data changed. Do you want to do a new summary? So what I'm showing you is part of this new Reader Pro experience. And that might be something that when you look at the enhancements of basically generative AI running inside QuickSight to create this new kind of experience, maybe I would want to upgrade to the Reader Pro experience. So that's kind of what we're showing you both on the Reader Pro page, as well as by giving you access to the SaaS sales dashboard. And for our teams inside Amazon, what we're doing is we're making these dashboards available to them so that at the top of their screen, they can actually click Save As, and then they can get the author view of this whole dashboard. And so it becomes a really powerful way of accelerating the starting point of someone who wanted to build something similar. And so it's an important way that we are creating this sort of empowerment model inside of AWS, and that our customers are doing as well. I did want to go back to the SaaS sales dashboard and show you one more exciting tool, which is the data stories feature, which is part of the new reader experience. We were looking at that beautiful dashboard already built. Now, if I wanted to create a narrative about this, I can say, build a strategy plan for next year, growing profit. And I can click add visuals, and now it's going to show me all of the different visuals here, and I can, let me make sure I'm looking at the SaaS sales dashboard. It's giving me a little bit of an error. Here we go. So here's my SaaS sales dashboard. I'm going to start clicking here, and what you'll see is that I'm given the option just at the top to click on any of my dashboards and start building visuals of those. And what I'm trying to do here is build a data story, which combines the best of the precision of the data visualizations, as well as the Gen AI foundational model, that the large language models are really good at helping create those narratives. And so in just a few moments, I'm going to have the beginning of a beautiful data story with the Reader Pro feature called Data Stories. And so you'll see that now it's giving me a nice leveraging sales analytics to exceed financial targets. And based on our sales data, there's room for increased profits. I see that I have both the visual and I have the ability to start highlighting and changing this, make it bigger, smaller. I can say, hey, make this shorter, make it longer, add more detail. I can easily start using this as a starting point for my data story. And so as I interact with this, it allows me to then, change the text, the visual types. I can bold, I can add my own text, and then when I'm ready, I can go ahead and share that with my colleagues. So what I've just done in a few minutes is fly through so much of what is possible with QuickSight. I did want to go through and make sure that you understand that the learning dashboard houses all of those great examples, and that the version that you have of the learning dashboard that exists on what we call Demo Central, that link that I shared with you at the top, I mentioned that you can actually learn and play with this by going through and changing your experience from the reader that it was. If I click on that little link on the side, it now shows me the analysis view. So I'm looking at the learning dashboard as an author would. And so during my 30-minute session, I can actually start adding visuals and changing the data types and seeing what happens to the learning dashboard that we've been playing with as a reader. And now it switches me to an author. And so knowing kind of the art of the possible and what is available and built out for me, I now can start really trying to do the kind of, what would work well for me analysis that our primary, like our really heavy duty author users might do. And then for those that are developers, I would call out that this little button on the side also shows you what the code looks like for running this Demo Central website. And so all of the examples that we're showing here on the learning dashboard, You can also see what the code snippets are here. And as you, if you're familiar with Demo Central, which we do encourage you very regularly to go back and forth with, take a workshop, watch a video, and then go play with Demo Central. That's kind of the cadence that we would recommend. So within just the last 30 or 40 minutes, we've gone through and acquired a tremendous amount of additional information about what's possible with QuickSight. And there are many more samples of what your dashboards could look like here on Demo Central. So you can play with those capabilities and figure out many different ways to utilize QuickSight to meet your needs just by searching through what our solutions architects have done. Especially with so much going on with Q, there is a really good discussion of what is the generative Q&A experience here, in addition to what we are constantly hosting on our QuickSight community.